Joe Biden is assembling his administration that I pray he'll never get to use, getting together a corrupt group of liberal has-beens that include people like John Kerry. Kerry is set to serve as Biden's climate czar, as we were discussing earlier, despite the fact that Kerry owns a $12 million beachfront home. If the oceans are on the verge of rising and swallowing up the entire coastal U.S., as people like Kerry would have you believe, coastal real estate doesn't seem like the wisest investment. It's the same rule of thumb used by the commies in China. They talk a big game on saving the environment to trick us into doing something about it by tanking our economy, while they sit back and laugh, burning ever more fossil fuels to outpace us. That's why President Trump pulled us out of the one-sided Paris Climate Accords, as he discussed over the weekend.
Protect American workers, I withdrew the United States from the unfair and one-sided Paris Climate Accord.
With me now is the Executive Director of Power the Future, Daniel Turner. Welcome back, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So we might be looking at a worst-case scenario next month with a possible Biden presidency. Should we be bracing ourselves to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement, and what would that even entail?
Absolutely. Mr. Biden has said that if he is inaugurated on his first day by executive order, he will rejoin the Paris Accord. And as President Trump just said in that clip you played, this was designed to hurt the American economy, and the world's biggest polluters, namely China and India, were completely exempt from it. So it is crazy to think that we will join this agreement that will really punish America and also force us to transfer billions of dollars to a slush fund that is controlled by the United Nations. It is a perfect scenario for someone like John Kerry, who really is a globalist. He will go again traveling around the world, attending fancy conferences at Four Seasons hotels in famous cities. And this is exactly what John Kerry was meant to do. It shows that a non-scientist like John Kerry is in charge of climate change, because there is science in this area that we're.
And we know Biden wants to go after the fossil fuel industry. He's made that quite clear, even though he tried to walk back some of those comments at the last debate before the election. But we do know he's going after it, especially with regulations, just like how the Obama-Biden White House, 4 years ago, how they killed the coal industry, for example. Lots of red tape, a lot of regulations there. What are some of your concerns there with fossil fuels, with drilling, with fracking? Would that raise the cost of living for average Americans if our energy prices go up?
Absolutely. Joe Biden will not be able to join the Green New Deal if the Republicans hold the Senate, but they will accomplish the same goals as the Green New Deal through executive order. And I hope that there is some pushback, but we didn't see any pushback in the Obama-Biden administration. And so what will happen is, by executive order, through the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, through the Department of Energy, they will pass a whole series of regulations, literally thousands of regulations. This will make producing oil and gas very, very difficult. It will reduce the supply. COVID will eventually turn around. People will start going out. They'll start commuting for work. So our supply will begin to dwindle. And what will happen is prices will rise. And then I feel like a clairvoyant, because I will come back on your show in the future and say this is exactly what I predicted. What will happen then is oil will be at $90, $100 a barrel, and they'll blame the fossil fuel industry. John Kerry will blame the greedy oil companies. Bernie Sanders will talk about profits ahead of people. And it is all because this administration, this incoming administration, will make producing oil and gas very, very difficult. President Trump allowed the free markets to do what it did best: produce oil and gas. We did it better than any other country while lowering emissions. It's a perfect formula. It makes no sense that we're going to reverse it, but Biden will reverse it, and it will be catastrophic to our country.
And speaking of being catastrophic, quickly before I let you go, if Biden was to hurt the energy independence that President Trump has won for us, could that also bolster, Biden's claims of wanting to become more, going back to the interventionist policies in the Middle East to secure our oil and energy there if we're not getting it here at home?
Exactly. What oil prices have done, what energy independence has done for us, besides free us from intervention in the Middle East, et cetera, it has really bankrupted our enemies, right? When oil is $100 a barrel, that is a largesse that Iran uses, that the Russians use, that the Saudis use, the Yemenis, the Omanis. right? When oil is not profitable, in America, it's profitable on volume. But in those countries, they want to see oil get to $100, $150 a barrel. That's what the OPEC cartel used to do. President Trump broke that cartel. So what will the Iranians do when they have literally billions of dollars more per day in cash? They will fund Hezbollah. They will fund Hamas. They will attack Israel. So we're going to be paying our enemies to build up their armies. It is again, you can hear the frustration in my voice. I can see these things happening, and it is amazing that this cabal of morons that Biden is assembling will take us down this path. It will lead to death. It will lead to destruction. It's very, very dark days for America, and it's horrifying to think about.
It is horrifying, and I'll have to, invite you back on in a few weeks. We both know, your predictions will most likely be coming true, and we'll have to take you up on that offer. But thank you so much for joining us again tonight, Daniel.
Thank you.